Drunk on Broad. What up, boys? It is Travis from the Losing Sucks Fantasy Football podcast and website. I am here. It is week 13. I've got 8 little bits of advice for you. I'm not going to recap the last few weeks. Things are going too fast right now to be looking backwards. So, looking forwards for this week, I have noticed that a lot of managers are in a little bit of trouble at wide receiver. You've got some teams on bye, specifically Hopkins, Marquise Brown. Um, you you've got injuries. You have to find somebody that can give you that 10 to 12 point week to help fill in a gap. These three guys I think can do that. Darius Slayton from the Giants plays Washington, 16 targets for 149 yards over the last 2 weeks. Yes, he needs a touchdown to have the home run day, but with how desperate it is, he can do that. He's due for one of those 50-yard touchdowns that he's done his whole career. I like Slayton in a pinch. Mac Hollins, very involved right now for the Raiders. They have a shootout versus the Chargers. This division game tends to be in the 20s and 30s every time these two play. Darren Waller, Renfro still out. So Mac Hollins, it really is the two there in the passing game, and I want pieces of this game. In the same game, Joshua Palmer for me is a start of the week. I do not think Mike Williams plays. He has not practiced yet. He missed again today. Being that it's Thursday, that's a terrible sign. Josh Palmer is number 6 in targets for wide receivers over the last 4 weeks, which shocked me when I read that today. Get him in there as a top 25 play if you have him. He may be out there. People cut him thinking Mike Williams is back. I like Josh Palmer a lot. If anything happens to Keenan Allen or Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, rest of the way, could be a very influential piece for you. Running back, stash for a playoff run, these 4 guys. Kyren Williams, he's the lead dog for the Rams right now. I know that doesn't sound exciting because the Rams suck, but any starting running back with how thin it is going to help you as a flex. He's going to get 15 touches the rest of the way, and there's not many guys like that out on the waiver wire. This guy will probably be out there. Go get Kyren Williams. Wait a little bit. When the playoffs start, he could be in a situation much like these other guys. Jaylen Warren. Najee Harris is banged up. They want to give Warren some work. We saw that early on in the season. They wanted him to complement Najee. If Najee is out this week or maybe a couple more weeks, whatever the case is, Warren, when healthy, I think will get 15 touches, much like Kyren Williams. But I think Warren is in a situation with the Steelers, especially against Atlanta this week. If Najee's out, I like Warren as a plug and play. Jordan Mason from the 49ers, with Elijah Mitchell done for the year, fantasy-wise. Christian McCaffrey banged up. He should be playing, but they're going to monitor him pretty closely. If something were to happen, he would be the number 1 there in a very consistently successful running team, running offense. I would stash Jordan Mason if you have room at the end of your bench. Finally, Zonovan Knight. We just saw a really nice game from him for the Jets. They loved what they saw. Head coach Saleh was all over it. He said he's a one-cut guy. He fits our system perfectly. I don't care that he's a rookie. So another guy, if you have room, if you're carrying a second defense, I would cut them and pick up guys like this. These guys can really help you when you're in a pinch, especially in the playoffs with a great matchup. Michael Carter is banged up. I think Zonovan Knight gets at least 12 touches a week going forward as long as he keeps producing. Get those guys now before it's too late. If you wait till next week, now you're in a bidding war with guys. You're not going to get them all. Whoever's out there, scoop them up. Cut your hurt guys that may not come back. Cut your second defenses. If you have a second kicker because one of them's a big name, there's just no reason to do that. These type of guys can be very influential for you. Finally, a sneaky defense for the playoffs for me. This is the same theme as the running backs. Pick them up a week early before people realize this. Kansas City, I think, is going to be a really nice plug-and-play defense. If you've been streaming defenses all year, they have Houston in Week 15 who cannot score, and Denver in Week 17, the championship, they cannot score. Denver may have completely packed it in by then. These two teams, Denver and Houston, will be trailing Kansas City big time. They'll be trying to make plays and force footballs into spots that they should not, and I think the Kansas City defense will tee off on them. A sneaky grab if you are streaming defenses all year. Now you're at the time with who am I going to lean on? 15 and 17. That's 2 out of the 3 playoff weeks. I really like Kansas City. Good luck, week 13. As we always say, losing sucks. Don't do it. Send me any DMs at Losing Sucks on Twitter. Start sit questions. If you don't have a trade deadline or you're in a dynasty, we really answer all type of questions. We'd love to talk football with you guys. And as always, go Birds.